so all they had to listen, it was the artists that they were actually here, based out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And as I said, past 4 or 5 years, the game has changed, and people are actually producing a lot of stuff, a lot of different type of music, hip hop, R&B, trance, traditional folkloric Persian music, and put on the internet. It's very easy to access,
Sure.
and it's different. It's been quite a very interesting 3-4 years Persian music.
Well, I know that the internet, specifically speaking, has helped a lot of artists that maybe, normally speaking, would never have been, seen or talked to or never been heard by the big people. I personally have worked with some artists that they are only popular because of music videos that they put on YouTube, for instance, where they, I don't know if they actually just wrote a song themselves and performed it, or if they had actually taken someone else's, but it's amazing what you can do now with the internet and social websites and such like that, like MySpace.
That is actually true, but there's a downside to it as well. There's a downside to it. It's a good side, as you said. There's a good thing about internet that you can produce a music in your
basement or whatever.
Your basement and just put it on the internet, and people thousands of miles away will be able to hear it. But there's a downside to it, and the downside is the copyright, as you know, that's been hurting the Persian music market a lot, because it's been really limited. The audience are not as much. So when he hits it hit the whole music. I mean, the whole music industry, American music industry, Russian, Persian. But for the smaller markets like Persian music market, it's been a little harsher.
Has it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's been hidden. And when he hurts the record labels, directly and indirectly starts affecting the artists.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So that is a little downside about the internet too. But of course, it's been great. It's been phenomenal.
So for some people, it raises them up faster than maybe they would have otherwise been, because to get into the market can be very expensive. You have to know the right people, and you have to know, just the right way to pitch it, the way to protect yourself, and have typically some money, right?
That's right.
To copyright it and to go through the normal attorneys, and then actually get into a recording studio. You can do it in your basement or whatever for YouTube type of thing, but when you want to do a real album, you want the clarity to be crisp and clear and professionally manufactured. You don't want to have it willy-nilly, like just this, like this recording, for instance. This is through a television station using really high-grade equipment, but you still wouldn't use even this type of sound for your own, record or something. So
the production is actually very interesting. If you want to do an album, you want to do a professional album, it costs you over $100,000 just for. I mean, it did cost me over $100,000 just for a first album, and that was just production.
Really?
And I'm not talking about music video.
Okay.
Just the music, vocals, recording, mixing, and mastering, and of course the design at the end. And so it's very costly. It's very costly, and because of a lot of different reasons, there's not a lot of turnaround. There's not a huge turnaround right now. So if you're really wanting to do this, you gotta have to absolutely be in love with this field. So, and willing to sacrifice, willing to put into it,
right.
Hoping that it's gonna turn around, believing in yourself, having a faith that it's gonna turn around and actually reward you at the end.
Sure.
So if you have to be in love with it, be obsessed with it, and believe in yourself.
So I know there's people that are on like Britain's Got Talent and American Idol and America's Got Talent and such like that. They sing and then they get to perform in front of all these people, and of course, all you have to do is have the audience love you. And even though there's probably, for every one person that comes up and wins whatever award or title that is, there's probably another 5,000 people that are 10 times better than that person. But you just don't get the opportunity. I mean, I know that just to get in there, to have someone listen to you and then be able to have just them be in the right mood and you be in the right mood and the acoustics in the room being just right. I mean, then you got people like my son. He went up on America's Got Talent and performed. He's a very talented beatboxer, but because he'd been practicing and playing with the crowd and everything like that for several hours waiting, he got up to the actual event and he wasn't able to perform the way he wanted to, and so, he wasn't able to move on. Even if he was in his best case scenario and people saw him at his best, they would say, send him on, please. He's very talented. I mean, I've seen the type of people that have made it past, and he's better than they are, but because of that performance. Same thing with music. If you can go up there, and it doesn't matter if you have talent, if you can't show people and they can't have the people that need to hear it, to have the money to help you succeed, if you don't have the money yourself, you can't even be successful, which is kind of catch-22 on the whole thing, isn't it?
That is actually that's true. I met your son back home. Actually, he's a very talented boy. Actually, it's you just gotta happen to be at the right place, at the right time. With all these programs out there, actually, like Britain Got Talent, X Factor, American Idol, a lot of different programs that I actually watch them all. All you gotta do, be able to come up with the performance, the music, the vocal, the ability to capture people, audience's heart. And once you do that, the sweet deal about that is that they'll actually back you up and produce an album for you. So that's very easy, yet very, very tricky. So you gotta have to be in the right place at the right time in order to be able to do that.
And it's still very exclusive, because if you look at how many, I mean, just at the American Got Talent that my son went to, there probably is 30,000 people, who knows what the actual number is, that came out that one day, and we drove 120 miles to get there. And look at how many people applied versus how many people go on, and how many people that go on goes to the next level. You're almost better off getting found in a club or being found on the internet than you would be in America's Got Talent. But if you get past those first few rounds, you're almost assured something, because you've been in the hearts and lives and minds of so many people by the second or third round, that it doesn't matter if you don't make it to the top. You're still in, people are like looking up at you on the internet, and let's find that person. My son's listened to the same people a few times. George Sampson, he won 2008 British Got Talent, I think is the actual year he won. I watched him several times before he even won, and I just fell in love with him. So those type of people are lucky. But what about the majority? The 99.999% of the population that has talent that just don't, they don't get a chance to
expose themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We actually had this conversation a year back with a friend of mine who's in the music industry as well. There's a lot of talents that actually stay unrecognized behind the scene always. That's unfortunately always the case, because as you mentioned earlier, you gotta have the financial ability behind you somehow, one way or another, yourself or someone backing you, in order to get your talent out there, in order to be able to show people what you got.
Right.
Because unfortunately, if you don't have that financial ability to back you up, you gotta get lucky. Yeah, and you have more chance getting struck by lightning than getting into American Idol and being able to do exactly what you can always do.
Sure.
So it's very tough.
Sure. Well, I know that the projects you've worked on recently, about a month ago, you finished filming a music video here in Portland, and I had the opportunity to work with you with that project, doing some behind-the-scenes footage. And by the time this is airing, my wife, Michelle Boxall, which also sponsors the show, she actually did the hair and makeup for you and for the other singer and some of the other actors and actresses that were involved in that music video. And we still happen, because you brought it with you, happen to have that in the back, and so we're going to see about playing that in a few seconds.
Yeah. Before you go, actually, I would like to say, that's the music video that we started shooting. It was a Persian/Russian music video.
Okay.
That I had my director and dear friend Alex Farah flying from Los Angeles to film that music video here. That's where I met your future beloved wife. Michelle is very talented. She's a very talented lady, and did the makeup for the music video. And that music video is yet to be released very soon, actually. It's about a month or so.
Okay.
We'll see it.
And now we get to see it here for the first time before anyone else
we
does.
shot 2 music videos, so we get to see one of them here now.
Okay.